One thing I think has Christian roots is our prison system, actually. I think the prison system we currently have comes deeply rooted in a love your enemies kind of category. I think that the prison system we have, like, think about this. You're legally guaranteed a certain standard of living in prison. You're a criminal against society. The whole reason you're in prison is because you've done something we've decided it's against the general society. Like, the general public has decided that you are doing something against the general public that's unwise or like not unnecessary, but like not uncalled for, undesirable. Everyone in the group is like, yeah, this behavior is undesirable. And so out you go. You know, you got to go over there for a little while. Come back when you're better. Come back when you don't do that stuff anymore. Ugh, you've done it 3 times. We're just going to keep you away from us. We're just sick of this stuff. Oh, but the 3 strikes are outlaws. Inhumane. We're talking about that stuff because these are literally our enemies. Like, they're literally the people working against us, right? So it's like, love your enemies about being humane. That's a desirable trait. That's a desirable quality. That's a good thing. And yeah, I think that's reflected in our prison system. Because a lot of people ask, or, well, not a lot of people ask, but a lot of people desire the life of a dog. I've heard that a lot. Sometimes people say, oh, I would just love to have a dog's life. And I think everyone who's ever owned a dog would also say that. Like, it seems great. Like, for the most part, being a dog would be so freaking great. You just gotta do the fun stuff of life. Somebody else is taking care of all the maintenance for you. All you have to do is sit there. They take you on walks and stuff. You get to go places. Still, okay, so that's the life of a prisoner. That's the life of at least the prison system I was in, the Utah State Penitentiary. That's the life you have. Someone else is taking care of all the maintenance for you. They take you to the vet, they take you to the doctor, they take you to the medical stuff. You have any kind of complaint, and it's better than a dog because you can actually tell them what's going on, and you can lie. You can say, my tooth hurts, and then you get a tooth fixed. And I mean, you're not getting the Ritz, but you're getting it done. You know what I mean? So, same with the dog. They're not getting the Ritz. I mean, they eat dog food, right? they eat kibble, and you take them to the vet. It's not a human doctor. They're going to do crazier stuff to the dog. They're going to do more trial things, probably. They're going to, like, just do some trying, you know? They're cool. They're going to be good at it, but they're going to, like, it's not as critical. I don't feel like there's as many lawsuits and stuff. Not as many. I don't know. It just seems, I don't know. It seems like maybe the way we should do human medicine. Like, if I could just go to a vet to get stuff done, I might do that. If they had some training on the human body, you know, that kind of care. If it was a little cheaper, I would do that kind of care. That seems like the better care, actually. It seems like they're willing to try something. They're willing to try something radical, even if it's against best practices, if you want it. And you're human, so you get to say if you want it or not. It'd be the perfect vet, like a consent vet. It's like a dog can't consent. It doesn't know what you're talking about. You're like, hey, do you want to have surgery on your gut? They can't know to say yes or no. They can't say, hey, I'd rather just die. You just kind of make the choice for them. There's not really a consent with the dog, but you're a human. If I could just consent to go to the vet, why wouldn't I be able to do that? Why is that against the law? I'm a human adult. Sovereign, making choices, my body, my choice, right? I think the same people who want to prevent me from going to the vet are also the same people who want to tell me that, you know, my neighbor can kill their baby if they want, their fetus, you know, because their body, their choice. But they're also wanting to prevent me from going to the vet because that's not safe. They have to keep me safe. They have to keep everybody safe. I read that. There's a novel. It's called Rash. It's a post-apocalyptic novel, and it talks about the United Safer States of America. They changed the name. They changed the name of the United States. The United Safer States of America. I thought that was the best. the best thing ever they did in that book. That was good. It's so safe. And in Adventure Time, Finn says, you can't grow without an element of danger or something like that. You need an element of danger for growth. Something like that. Adventure Time's so good. But you need danger. Life is dangerous anyway. That's the thing. The stupidest thing, the very stupidest thing of all, is that the most dangerous thing I do in my day is get in my car. And it's actually pretty dangerous. Even with seatbelts and car seats. Like, it's pretty dangerous. Probably the most dangerous thing. Maybe walking up my stairs is also a little bit dangerous, and sleeping in my bed is dangerous. Most people die getting tangled up in the bed sheets. You know what I mean? So, like, life is inherently dangerous. And making it too safe almost ruins it. It's almost like, what's the point? Maybe that's the cause of all this anxiety and mental illness, is we're just doing it wrong somehow. It's like, okay, we just have to admit somewhere along the way we're doing it wrong. All of us together, we're doing it wrong. Let's try to figure out a better thing to do. I think, yeah, people are trying it, but they're like, well, I'm going to fix it by making sure everyone does, like, force and control. I'm going to make sure everybody does the right thing, and then we'll have it right. And I think it's the force and control. That's the actual problem, though. That's the whole thing. We've gotten too far down the force and control model, right? We need to go back to the more anarchistic model, the more the love model, the trusting people model, the saying, you know what? Let's just be reasonable. We might have to have some laws. I mean, there has to be some consequences for some behavior, right? We don't need to be going crazy. Life is dangerous. And if I want to go to the vet, I should be freaking allowed to go to the vet. I can pay for it. I can work out a deal with them privately on my own. I could go to their house. I should be legally allowed to do that. I should be legally allowed. I should be legally allowed to take that risk for myself. That seems normal and reasonable. That seems like what being a sovereign individual adult is all about. It seems like what our country was founded on. Give me liberty or give me death, Patrick Henry. Am I right? Like, would Patrick Henry would turn over in his grave, he would balk in his balking grave because freaking I can't be doctored by someone legally just at their house if I chose to and I wanted to. And I get that there's a lot of weirdos and there's a lot of cause for problems, but I should be allowed to. And yeah, if people do weird stuff and cause problems, maybe, we do need to deal with that and not let that happen in our society, for sure. But if we're just two responsible adults wanting to do a medical procedure, I should be legally allowed to do that. I should be able to be allowed to take that risk. And if I take that risk, I shouldn't be then suing. I think that's the other, well, what if you sue? Well, I shouldn't be allowed to sue. Can I sue? I mean, yeah, I guess we can sue for really any reason, but it's just, that's kind of dumb. Maybe we need to we need to be a little more reasonable. Stop trying to get something for nothing. Stop just trying to get money, to get gain. I mean, if you legitimately have a problem, if you're legitimately if you've been legitimately screwed, messed over, if you've legitimately been, had something bad happen to you intentionally, and they did it intentionally, that's one thing. But just to try to get money, I think there's a little bit of excess on that. And who's to judge? It just has to be the honor system, right? Because we go through these lengthy processes to try to figure out what's going on. It just wastes a lot of time. So if you are the one doing that, just know you're wasting the time of the group. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should repent of that. You should stop doing it. You should not try to do it in the future. You should teach your children to not do that. And anyone who's listening who agrees with that should also be teaching those around them to not do that, those they have dominion and, control over. You do have dominion over your children, though. That's a different scenario. It's like I have dominion over my dog. It's when you have unrighteous dominion. It's when you continue to hold dominion over them after they're adults. Or if you have dominion over them in weird ways, like ultra controlling ways, and you have to kind of judge that. But there are those who are holding unrighteous dominion over their children, even to the very outfit they wear. Like, who the crap cares if they want to wear a bumblebee costume every time you go to the grocery store? Who cares? Who is caring? You know who's caring? It's just you. Everyone else at the grocery store is going to be delighted by that bumblebee child. That child is going to be delighted by their own bumblebee self, and all their siblings are going to think that's normal and cool, and maybe one's a horse today. We don't know. But why are you so controlling over your kids' dang outfits? I think there can be unrighteous dominion, for sure. And we just need to judge that. We just need to be judging in ourselves. We need to be working on these little philosophical and moral dilemmas we've got going on. They're like little and minor, but these are the battles we fight. Do you want to die wasting your time, or do you want to die in the middle of the battle of your life, the next thing you were trying to learn, the precept that you were conquering to get to the next precept? And why are you doing it all? What's it all for? Well, it's to increase awareness, and it's to increase knowledge and increase understanding. I don't know if I should say this, because knowledge is power. Increase power, yes, your acts become more powerful as you increase in knowledge and understanding, and certain types of knowledge gives you more power than others, but that can turn into wicked and dark roads too. Why are you lusting after power in and of itself just to be above somebody else? I think that's a lack of self-control issue. I think trying to get power above somebody else is because you don't have power over yourself, maybe. Maybe it's a lack of self-control issue. And no, I'm not just trying to prod somebody and trying to change them based on their ego, although it would work to the ego-driven person. I'm saying I think that's how it is in real life. I think just be content with the power you have over yourself. You would be much happier. There's a different kind of happiness. Having power and control over yourself and seeing where the ride takes you on the spiral is the most joyful kind of happiness. It's a different kind of happiness than having a lot of force and control and power over somebody. That power model feels good. It feels really good when people obey you and you could just do that power thing and you get the carnal pleasures. Yes. But there is a better thing. That's the thing. That's the whole thing. It's like you're wasting your time. You're wasting it. There's a literal better thing. It's not carnal pleasures, it's self-control. And you might have and you probably, if you were super far down into the carnal pleasures and power category, you probably have a lot of self-control already. So it wouldn't be that hard to make the switch to the love side and the love model and the love your enemies. Love your enemies model. You do that radical shift and your life will go on a roller coaster. It's kind of like you go up to the top of the roller coaster and you're thinking about it. Should I do the radical shift? Should I love my enemies? I mean, my life has gone this far. It has ups and downs, but it's mostly downs. And I just want to kill everyone. And I hate my life and I hate everything. Hate, right? You're down that little road, that little trip. So you come around and you say, I'm ready for radical change. I'm suicidal even, right? I'm going to jump off this cliff. So you start thinking about it and you're climbing up to the top of that roller coaster. But it's not really a roller coaster. It's just something like you and Jake rigged up on the top of the hill, right? It's just this rickety thing. Or so you think. So you go on down, but you don't realize, Jake the dog can stretch. And things happen and crazy stuff works out. But anyway, you get to the top of the hill and you let go. Letting go, like the loving your enemies, doing some radical change where you actually love your enemies. Whoa. And you might die. I mean, it's a risk. Life is risky. Life is dangerous. But you're going to die anyway at some point in this life. You might be able to prolong it with the machine, but is that going to be the same? And that might turn out weird and dark. It might not be something you want. You might want to move on to the next incarnation. It's what it's designed to do. that might actually be trapping yourself in a prison, staying in this incarnation. I mean, you want to ride this thing. You want to do the crazy stuff because it's fun. You want to love your enemies and crap, but like, at some point, you're going to misjudge, or that roller coaster just wasn't built correct, or it ran out. I don't know. At some point, you're going off the track and you die. At some point, we all reach the point where we die. Our bodies wear out, whatever death comes, consciousness has to change and do something else. And it's part of it. That's another jumping off place, right? That's the real cliff. We're all facing the real deep, dark murk where nobody can see the bottom. Nobody sees where that one goes. People see the start of it, but you don't know where it goes. People have gone down a little bit and come back. People have tied ropes, gone in a little bit and come back. We've seen a little glimpse. But nobody's hit the bottom yet and come back. I don't know if that's possible, but maybe it comes back up the other side to another birth and another life. We don't know. But it is dark down there and we have no idea what it is. It's a little scary, but that is the ultimate jumping off place. And you're so pussy, you're going to try to prolong your life in a computer. Maybe you would want to, though. That might be an interesting thing you do, but at some point, realize this. You've got to face that jumping off place. It takes courage. But maybe you would never want to if you didn't have to. Maybe you never would. But then when you would never grow because you wouldn't have that danger, right? It's like the ultimate courageous act. Jumping off to that jumping off place, and usually we don't have a choice. It's usually just taken. Our cart is pulled toward it inexplicably. We just go there. It's our turn. Sometimes we know it, sometimes we don't know it till we're just already off the edge. A lot of people don't want to know till they're already going down, right? Some people know it a long time in advance. They take time. They sit on that track. It cranks up. They know they're getting close to the top, but they don't really know. But then they start to know, right? You can feel it change. I don't know, maybe not. I've never been there, and I've never been with somebody who took that leap.